What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is Merc Master here along with Hero Joe broadcasting the Splash All Amateur League Lower Division Week 2. Once again, I am a sub-alternate for Jungle on Team Infernia. Been playing League since beta. Just love the opportunity to be here and continue to cash for you guys and enjoy my time. Joe, want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, what's up? I am Hero Joe. I am the current jungler for TSI in Upper Division. I'm a former collegiate player with Illinois State, and I am excited for some Lower Division today.
It's going to be a blast, man. So today's matchup is going to be La Espada against Rawrs. Last week, La Espada had faced TD Harmony and unfortunately had lost in 2 games. Close match, had a lot of really good, interesting matchups within their character choices as they were going through, but Rawrs had a bye last week going in, so that might make for an interesting matchup.
Yeah, we're really just going to be looking to see what Rawrs will bring to the table. Our first time seeing them on the Rift this season.
So as of right now on our rosters, we have 4 La Espada. We're going to have Blade in the top lane, Complex in the jungle, Boo will be their mid laner, Red Panda is their AD carry, and Granted is the support. And over on Rawrs, we have 1 roster change, which I'll get to, but we have Noxus in the top lane, Doki in the jungle, and we have Rook is going to be taking over at the mid lane this week. Over Rookter is the name, Rookter. T-O-R at the end of that, over Tremor, and then you have Red Face Beast and Lunar Paul. So I haven't really had a chance to pull up any stats on Rookter yet to see what we can expect there, but I know last minute changes, schedules coming through into the new week with everything that they have, but we'll see how it all turns out across the board. And there we go. I was able to pull up Rookter. So it looks like a lot of the individual season stuff here, Rookter really was favoring doing AD carry and is marked as a support, but stepping into the mid role. That might be interesting.
Yeah, that's just part of the game. Sometimes substitutes need to step up just as much as their starter counterparts. So we'll have to see what he can bring to the table and see if they can pull out the win.
Absolutely.
The biggest question mark I'm looking at right now is just see what these 2 teams, because yes, La Espada is coming off of a loss from last week, but we didn't get to see Rawrs play, so it is a fresh slate. Either of these teams can win.
Absolutely, for sure. You always think in the aspect that if the team did their homework, if they come back from a loss, just like anything in professional sports, did they do the game review? Did they figure out what that weakness is? Did they figure out what they can do better? Did they figure out what did they do right despite the loss, and find a way to reinterpret those successes and bring that energy into this a new game, new standing, new breakdown. So do they have the ability to pick it up and get some wins under their belt?
Yeah, every game matters when it's single round robin.
Absolutely. And as you guys know, they will be doing a best of 3 tonight unless 2 games are done across the board. But I guess we'll see. Wildly enough, most of the games we've had, especially in Upper Division as well, and even in Lower Division, a lot of the games have been 2-0s so far, and it's been kind of surprising. I thought there would have been a lot more, 2-1s here and there across the board.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I imagine that as the season goes on, as these teams get more and more games together and more stage experience with each other, that the games will start getting closer. Because a lot of times some of these players are fresh. Sometimes they haven't even really played together with each other. So as time goes on, these teams will really scale up as we get into playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like as of right now, guys, we're just kind of hanging on to a slight delay as we get ready to get into the pick and ban phase, and it looks like we are doing that now. They are going through with the pick and ban, so La Espada opens up with banning the Amumu, which honestly is kind of surprising to me. I really haven't seen him too much in competitive play, but interesting ban.
Yeah, Amumu is very much a target ban at Doki. It is one of his big comfort picks. If we're talking comfort picks for Doki, we're thinking things like the Amumu, the Zac. Really likes the engage, simple to follow up on. Creates a very standard front to back fight, especially without flash.
And then as we see there from Rawrs La Espada, we have a Morgana ban into a Zyra ban, and then followed up by a Nocturne. All very solid standard bans that I see across most of the league right now. Zyra and Morgana are very strong supports. Nocturne is a Very powerful on the current jungle with his ability to get anywhere around the map quickly. It's
There's the Doki Zac that I had mentioned as well, so we'll have to see what the first pick of the draft is going to be for La Espada. A lot of things off the table, but it looks like Jax is going to be the lock-in.
And you know, we've come to notice so far that I've seen a lot of teams really kind of lean in the favor of target banning one individual player, as opposed to try to like maybe taking one comfort pick off of multiple lanes. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is if you can find a player that maybe doesn't have as big as a champ pool as someone else, you can just try and put them off of comfort and in a way make the game a 4v5. Because if you ban one champion away from each individual member, then okay, they're just on their second most played champion, which odds are will not be that worse. But if you ban, 2 or 3 champions away, then they start digging deep into the pool where they just don't have as much comfort level on it.
Yeah, and I mean that's a solid, great point. You know, you try to put a chink in the armor, so to speak, of just exposing one particular side, and maybe they think that's where they could do it. You know, that maybe the champ pool coming out of Complex is going to help them maybe get that advantage over Doki, targeting him so easily with going after those jungle picks.
We do see the Corki Maokai locked in, so this is a very standard poke composition. The Maokai is very great at peeling and also saplings with Liandry Riftmaker new items. Can be quite a pain, and Corki is one of the big winners with the new season. Malignance is one of the best items for his rocket spam. Generally you go Malignance into Eclipse and Mirror Mana. So very strong builds for Corki right now means he is an absolute menace from the mid lane.
Absolutely. The hybrid damage is also so difficult to deal with because you can't really build one way or the other to try to deal with them. And, he just puts in constant damage, like you said, with that Malignance and the long-range poke capability that it has under his R. And then, God forbid, the package, when team fights go in, a very huge effective tool, especially on this new map. Mobility is massive for champions on this new map.
So we do have the Mordekaiser and Nivea locked in for La Espada, which leads me to believe that this is a Jax jungle as the first pick flex, and we'll see Mordekaiser in the top lane and Nivea as the response to Corki. So we see the entire top side locked in for La Espada. My question mark right now, though, is the bottom lane, because right now Rawr does have the opportunity to pick away a marksman and ban away some of the others from La Espada. We'll see whether they want to do that or just respond with the top lane counter pick.
Absolutely, that's a really good way for them to potentially attack this, to go after it. And it looks like, unfortunately, they didn't get the pick in, and it looks like they're calling it was Darius. Darius was supposed to be the lock-in for Rawr in that position as they're getting ready to ban, but hopefully they get it all caught up.
Yep, it looks like it is being confirmed that Darius was the lock-in for the R3 pick, so they did end up going with the top lane counter pick. And now Senna is banned away.
Targeting more of those supports. I know Nico's a good hybrid flex to go mid lane as well as support, but from what we can see, that easily looks like they're trying to position themselves to pick apart the bot lane right now with everything being wide open. Both teams have not picked their supports or their AD carries yet, which is honestly surprising for me. This is something I have not seen in any of the games that I've watched so far. The AD carry and support have been left last on both sides.
Yeah, Senna, a very good ban right now. Senna is one of the strongest champions on the patch, as well as it opens up a lot of the APCs, things like Seraphine that farm really well with the gold. We also see the Nami ban, which Nami is also a very valued ban because not only do you ban the Nami, but it also dissuades from things like Lucian and those really hard winning 2v2s.
Absolutely, and just kind of looking at the list right now, I was trying to see what some of the champions' favoritisms are across the board. I mean, right now, Blade has a pretty good solid, 17 games played on Mordekaiser in this current patch, sitting at a 60% win rate across the board, but I mean, he's got a solid 3.24 KDA, which is, something huge to bring to the table in these matchups with what they have going on, so.
With the Seraphine ban away some of those double enchanter options like Seraphine Karma. So right now, priority is rising on picks like Varus, like Ashe, some of those pushing bottom lanes, especially with the counter pick range support. That could be the option. Or there's also the option of a hard engage bot lane, something like Samira Draven, playing super hard for the 2v2 with an engage.
I really think for Rawr, what'll benefit them the most is it looks like they end up locking in the brand and go with the poke from a distance. I think them having a ranged poke type composition is going to benefit them going against the Mordekaiser. That's the one thing that Mord definitely benefits in, is that if he can get in there a little bit and be able to ult one of those key damage players out because they are in an engaged team, it kind of turns the fight in La Espada's favor.
The brand is very flexible. That could be a support brand with the new supportive items that make them do a lot of damage, or it could just flat out be a farming brand APC. We do see the Thresh response. This might be paired with something like Aphelios, or we'll see if they want to lead a different direction.
Aphelios definitely a strong pick in the current patch. Ashe is another potential good pick out of this as well. I know their team is looking, I mean, it's looking very good for the capability of engage and disengage across their entire setup, and there it is. There's the Ashe pick, being able to throw down the R, and the W slows with everything that they have on top of Aniva. I mean, that's going to be a very difficult team to engage, even disengage with in all aspects of the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the counter pick is. We'll learn where exactly the brand is going. But yeah, very standard, I'd say, composition from La Espada. You have your melees in the front, you have your ranged carries in the back with Ashe and Anivia, as Nilah is the final pick of the draft. So it's going to be Nilah Brand bottom lane, which is going to be a quite turn, and this lane is now very dangerous for the Ashe Thresh.
It looks like there might have been an issue. The team chat is saying that was meant to be Twitch, not Nilah. But we'll have to wait and see. That's a discussion between the team to figure out. And that missing individual there up top is Darius. That is confirmed. It is going to be Darius in the top lane for that other pick. But this last one, don't know yet.
Yeah, we will have to see if this is a Twitch. It will mean that this composition coming out from Rawr has very high range, which could spell trouble for La Espada because of how many melee champions you have, and carries like Anivia and Ashe are relatively short range, so they could have a lot of trouble getting on top of these long range carries like Twitch, Corki, through the Malachi poke, through the brand poke. Could be very difficult, but we'll see whether or not that is going to be Nilah or Twitch.
Alright, looks like it's going to be the Nilah.
Alright, so that could spell trouble, I mean, because
Agreed.
when you're looking at Rawr's draft, they have all these high-range picks like Corki, Malachi, Brand, picks that want to kind of sit back and lay down the damage, but Nilah is not that. She wants to go in, she wants to hit the big wombo combo with her ultimate, generally have some follow-up with that, so we'll have to see how she can play it out this game.
Yeah, it absolutely is going to be it's a surprising pick. They might have been hovering it, thinking they wanted to do it for the the ability her kit brings, to be able to brawl a little bit more and get in there and be able to do that burst damage. But I mean, into the Mordekaiser, into the Jax, into the Anivia, the wall, the Thresh, it's quite a bold pick. But I guess we'll see after it'll play out for them. But it's really not looking at face value that this is going to be in Rawr's favor this first game.
Yeah, the one thing I can see working for them is that Merc Treads have very high value. You see a lot of short-ranged magic damage characters like the Anivia, the Mordekaiser, even the Thresh, as well as a lot of high-value CC coming out from picks like Ashe and Jax. So there's a lot of magic damage coming out, as well as a lot of CC, so things like Wit's End, things like Merc Treads can have a lot of value, especially now that items now have tenacity on them, like Sterix or Wits.
Absolutely, because really good items to utilize right now. And another interesting fact that we can bring up at this point is I know most of the individuals who watch Slash All and know that the lower division has kind of started building their power rankings coming into everything. So we do have those for this week. And one of the things I find interesting, specifically at the AD carry role with this Nilah, is the AD carry for La Espada on Red Panda is shown to be the last place AD carry at number 7 on this Ashe, but that's also where the biggest disparity is in the power rankings this week, where Red Faced Beast is number 4 in the power rankings out of 7. So it makes me wonder, is that enough of a gap in that bot lane and the character capabilities on our face value of our power rankings that Panda Nilah utilize what you said and get through this game?
Alright, so we did just get a big twist. It is not going to be Brand support. It is actually going to be Brand jungle, with the Maokai being sent to the support role. I actually quite like this change. It now gives Neela someone to follow up on in the 2v2. And Brand jungle is also just one of the strongest picks of the patch. Is relatively underpicked, but he is around a 54% win rate, especially in higher levels of play. So I am really excited to see how well this pick does.
Agreed. I mean, there was, in the most recent patch that came out, there was a minor nerf given to Bran on his overall damage that he's able to put out, but he is still 100% fast clearing, good on the high damage health, but his kit is still exactly what you'd expect out of a Bran in every way possible. But the fact that most of his stuff is burst AoE and goes across, 3 out of 4 of his abilities across the board, really give him a great jungle clear, just that a good ability to stun and snare coming out and make good plays from the jungle.
Yeah, and the big winners of the Liandry changes are champions that did not need the mana to begin with and can benefit from the health that was instead replaced with. And when you are jungling, you do not have mana problems because the jungle item and the passive will give you the mana. So Liandry's is a really big item for Bran now, as well as just the other really strong AP items like Storm Surge and the Crypto Bloom. So we'll have to see what he builds and how much power that he can get out of this pick and the flexible drafting that they pulled out.
Exactly. The blue buff, like you said too, and then killing those jungle monsters, getting the minor heal that comes off of killing the large monsters in the jungle, all definitely favors to his end. So really excited to see how this game is going to turn out, and how this is going to continue to go forward. And the rest of the power rankings are all off by 1. They're all 1-1 across the board, and I'll highlight on those real quick before we take ourselves over to a short break as we wait for this game to load. But for the jungle, we have number 5 for La Espada and then number 6 on Rawr. Mid lane, number 5 for La Espada and number 4 for Rawr. Like I said before, an 80 carry, it's 7-4, and then on the support, it's 6 to number 7. So according to the power rankings, this team's kind of individual players are middle of the pack, but the teams overall, and I don't know, that could just because Roar didn't play last week also, but again, the power rankings are face value from those individuals that do the statistics on it, but very close matchups. It should make for an interesting game.
Alright, as we head into a spectator delay in the League client, we will catch you on the Rift after a brief intermission. Alright, and welcome onto the Rift for the first match between Rawr and La Espada. We have La Espada on the blue side, we have Rawr on the red side. Pretty standard rune setups across the board, but as always when Rawr is on the field, Doki did elect to take the Ignite instead of Flash, so we will just have to see what kind of value the Summoner spell can bring in this match, and whether or not he will be punished without the Flash.
And you know what? And that's exactly it. That's the main decision that's going to happen there. Is there going to be a punishment? Looks like we have an early invade here on La Espada trying to move in. Oh, and he manages to get a 5-man sapling to get good chip damage all around on that. It's a shame Lunar Paul didn't take the typical... oh, wow. Why is it not coming to me? The gold collecting.
Yeah, first strike.
First strike. Thank you. Oh, had a brain fart there for a second.
Yeah. So first strike is very common on jungle Maokai because he can make use of the gold, go items like Leandry, as well as with the red pet, you can farm up a lot of gold and bring a lot of damage. But it makes sense to take the Aftershock as support Maokai because you just generally need to be a bit tankier with less gold.
For sure. It was just making me think of that moment because, you know, me being a jungle, I usually see that Maokai in the jungle position. I'm thinking, ooh, that would have been a nice gold payout there off of that minion for that one. But looks like right now, you know, we kind of have our typical startups. Uniquely, the jungles are starting on opposite ends, so the first ganks in this game are going to be quite interesting on as they continue to play out and see what's going to happen.
Yep, we did see Brand elect to take a leashless clear starting on Raptors to try and hide where he starts. However, there is full vision. As you can see, La Espada did put a ward both on the Raptors river entrance as well as directly on the blue buff, so they should have complete information on where the Brand is pathing.
Exactly, and then Rawr did the same thing for their end, getting the red ward over on the blue buff of La Espada, trying to see if they could see that Jax when Emek starts making his way up. But, you know, due to the fact of the leash, Rawr was able to get the early level 2 here and push this wave into turret and then hopefully be able to get this to crash before the minion wave catch up, which they do not. So bot lane might have a really good freeze going for them for La Espada.
Yeah. Something I'm looking at right now is Brand actually did a 3 camp directly into his top side with Krugs. We'll see if he actually looks to level 3 top here or if he'll just either make the long walk or reset.
Yeah, I'm usually quite surprised whenever the individuals start Raptors, choose to go red and then back down. You usually most often opt, like you said, to go...
He's looking for the level 3. We'll have to see whether or not there is no vision for the Mordekaiser, and he will just hover the gank and recall.
See if anything's there. Looks like Blade felt something was a little off, is playing it safe, which is smart. Big wave there, no reason to have to force the push in any way, shape, or form. I just continue to work, and as we could see from bot lane, La Espada is opting to be able to freeze that wave and take that advantage of the Ashe and Thresh poke and just control, which is exactly what they want.
Yeah, we see some trading up here in the top side, relatively even. The last W actually from the Darius going to make that trade hurt for the Mordekaiser, but he will be able to collect this wave under his turret, and things will continue to be even.
That was a surprising amount of damage, and hopefully, unfortunately, he's not. Some of those minions were just out of last hit capability, so he wasn't quite able to equal out the total of CS as that wave crashes. But they're only 1 CS separate, so not too bad in the long run.
Yeah, his W shield timed out right before the W came through from Darius, so a lot of damage taken, but that is just relatively standard for Darius lanes. His passive is very strong in these stages of the game. As we see both junglers taking their respective crabs. Jax did look topside, but ward placed from Darius means that will just be a fast reset for the Jax.
And I'm really curious to see if the two teams are going to take the ability to take the reset and go top to go after these Void Grubs, which Complex is in a better position to do, being level 4, having done a full clear, having that CS current lead over Doki, but Doki is opting to do a very interesting invade here, and it may work out in his favor because it looks like Jax is not rotating that way.
Yep, he actually elected to skip either his Grump or his Wolves. Or actually, he skipped both of them. After clearing his topside cams, he just went blue into bottom Scuttle because he took the reset. So he did have the extra time to take these Krugs away from Jax.
And
as we now see a gank coming in, Maokai is going to W in, stun lands onto the Ashe as she flashes away from the Brand. Volley of arrows trying to slow down the enemy as Thresh is forced to flash away too with blinking health bars. As it is a summoner trade as Mordekaiser has to flash away from the Jax on the top as Jax is now going to pick up the kills. Darius looking to trade and he does get it with the bleed. First blood for Noxus on the top side.
And he's able to get away too, and the Anivia was not able to punish at all. What a phenomenal trade for Noxus. And going back to the bot lane play before that, I'm really surprised Doki opted to try to focus Panda there when Granted was called out. If he would have saved his combo.
Flash in from Maokai. They know they are flashless. Both of them flash forward. Doki is back for the repeat. Dash in from the Neela, and Maokai picks up the kill on Ashe.
Lunar Paul got very low there and almost was able to be taken down in a trade. But looks like he's going to be able to get away safely. They'll push that wave in and then go ahead and take their reset.
Yeah, really successful plays from Rawr overall. Because Doki did show on the bottom side, Complex will be able to solo out these Void Grubs, which he will quite enjoy, but huge plays coming out from Rawr winning on both sides of the map.
Indeed, and it looks like Anivia's rotated up as well, just to ensure that Complex is going to have no issues being able to secure those Void Grubs. They take the first 3, and again, for those who don't know, with the update on this, if they get at least 5, they get little Void Grub spawnlings as they attack the turret. That give them the ability to push even harder, but if they get 6, that's the ultimate, because it gives them even more to have the ability to push, and it's very powerful for teams that are looking to utilize the split push.
Right now, Rawrs is in a very strong spot in this lane as he continues trading. He's just holding this lane in a horrible state as Mordekaiser is going to ult. It's an all-in, but we're going to see the Noxian Guillotine come down. No, he doesn't even need it. And it's another solo kill coming out from Aspect of Noxus on the top side.
Absolutely. Sacrificed a little bit of CS there to try to go for the kill. I was surprised he was going so aggressive, having such a large minion wave in his face doing damage, but, you know, I guess he anticipated that Mordekaiser was going to ult him to try to get away from it, and that actually, I think in the long run, benefited Darius even more.
Yeah, he played it very well there. He held the wave just in front of his turret, knowing that Mordekaiser has to step up to try and crash that wave, or else he will just freeze it against him. And as soon as Mordekaiser tried to step up to crash the wave, pulls him in, starts the trade, and chases him down the lane. As we now see Dragon lately traded for the Grubs, pretty standard. Blue side gets Grubs, red side gets Dragon. It's a 2,000 gold lead already for Rawr.
Quite impressive with everything. Across the board, we can see outside of Doki in the jungle, there's pretty much a CS lead across the board in every single lane, but the very surprising lead, which is what I was expecting, and we didn't have a chance to talk about it too much, is the Corki against the Anivia in mid lane. I mean, until Anivia hits level 6, she very much struggles to be able to CS safely against a ranged AD carry like Corki.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that Espada did elect to take this matchup. The Corki was blind picked in the draft, so we'll have to see whether or not any value can come out later from this Anivia, or if it will just continue bleeding out to this Corki.
For sure, and it looks like this Corki is most likely going to opt right now based on itemization for the early Mura mana as opposed to going down the AP route first. And, you know, we'll just have to see as that match continues, but more than likely from what I'm guessing with the way those two champions are, they're just going to continue to full wave clear and then maybe move out of lane to make a play on a team-based objective around the next drag or Rift Herald at some point.
Yeah, I think Rawr will probably look to contest these Raptors. You generally don't want to give up 6 Grubs, especially when you have such a strong winning top side. So they'll elect to take the Grubs, because Grubs will spawn well before the next dragon, as we see another pull in from the Darius, as Mordekaiser actually drops the ulti to try and get this shutdown the best he can. We'll see whether it is enough as Aspect of Noxus lands another Q, and it is enough. Blade gets the solo kill and the shutdown onto Noxus, but Doki is here to clean up. The flames going down, Blade trying to run, but that path no longer exists out of top lane. Doki will pick up that kill as we see another gank coming out from Complex. Counter-strike onto 2 does pick up the kill onto Lunar Paw, as Espada winning across the map and getting some much-needed gold.
Absolutely, and I think that was quite funny. I agree with you. I think Blade was looking for the escape through top, hoping that he can go across the turret and make his way down, but as soon as he got up there, recognized, oh, the map is no longer set up that way and didn't have a way to escape.
Happens to the best of us, but a huge solo kill coming out from Blade. goes down 0-2 in the lane, but he knew that he had the damage there and picks up the shutdown, and now the lane is a lot more even. He has the plated steel caps, he has the bramble vest, and things that are stabilizing already.
Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal play for him to be able to keep himself in the game and recognize his strength point when he had it, to not let this lane snowball out of control and make a play where he could. And honestly, I was quite impressed because in the beginning, a couple of the, a few of the abilities were missed by Blade, and I was like, oh, that might be, spell doom, because with how close that matchup is, you got to make sure that you land every single ability, because it will be that close the entirety of this game.
Now, looking at the map, Doki is actually pretty deep inside La Espada's jungle. He's on a flank here. We'll see whether or not they spot this out, because granted, X has moved up with the support roam. Lunar Paw here as well. It's Doki sitting on this control ward, has a really nice flank. We'll see whether it is enough. They are spotted now. Lunar Paw goes in with the grasp as Doki picks up an easy kill onto Complex. Ash Arrow going to land onto the Darius, but it is too little, too late, and the grubs are going to be cleaned up by Rawr.
And it's just like that, the whole thing gets completely turned over. I was really kind of quite surprised at how disjointed that fight originally started, and it looked kind of really dangerous. Honestly, at first, for Lunar Paw being up there by themselves, having 3 of them there, I just think they stayed a little bit too focused on trying to get those Void Grubs and didn't see the impending doom that was coming their way from the team getting collapsed on.
Yeah, Secret Agent Doki in the back, hiding in their own jungle. They did not expect that angle to come out, as we do see the Mordekaiser ultimate drop down again from Blade, all in on the top side. Q gonna slam down his Aspect, and Nox is gonna flash away, but Blade flash follows, and it's another solo kill in this very bloody top side.
And I mean, that was just, again, extremely well played by Blade. Recognize the strength spike that he's in right now, utilize that to his advantage, and just, immediately collapsed and forced Darius to not be able to use what, he tends to like to do, which is, hit that Q on the edge, get that big heal, and kind of play that running gun kind of game and slow bleed. And he just couldn't, you can't get away when you're trapped in Mordekaiser's ult.
Yeah, really well played from Blade. Not only stabilizing the matchup, but now winning it, despite the rough early game.
And right now it looks like La Espada is moving themselves up to try to position for this drag, clearing all the vision before they engage and just trying to see how they can make a match happen. Lunar Paw, she does a great job clearing vision, trying to get themselves set up, and that's a wonderful ward there, actually, to be able to kind of see back into the main area of River without letting it get seen by that pink that's currently within the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, this is just the strength of the Maokai. The saplings grant so much vision and control that it will always have value no matter where the Maokai is, as the Corki rockets are starting to hurt with the first strike. As
for sure.
We'll have to see where this goes. Both teams positioning in the river. As the Ash Arrow does come out, Mordekaiser on the flank, Blade collapsing in as Complex jumps in on him with the counter-strike. Corki Rocket's not going to land, it's Red Panda picking up the first kill of the fight. And it's going to be the second kill picked up as well onto Neela, but Doki picks up Ash into the backline as Blade gets a 2-man pull. Corki trying to turn it around, Rutger diving in with the package will pick up Blade, as Darius this entire time is just destroying that top lane.
I'm really kind of shocked at how long Corki, the patience to hold on to that package and not utilize it earlier in that fight, on top of a wombo combo utilizing Lunar Paw and her ult with what was going out there. But a phenomenal fight coming out of Rawr, being able just to do a 3-for-1 there. And at the end of the day, on top of that, not only did they 3-for-1, they didn't have the Darius, he did get that top lane, and they've secured that drag as well.
Yeah.
Just really good play all around for them.
Very massive play for Rawr. They win the 4v5. Their Darius gets the entire turret, gets a lot of damage onto this tier 2. They pick up their second Drake, as Hextech Soul is going to be the flavor of the day. This is one of the best souls in the game, so they will be quite happy with that role.
For sure, and as we can see right now, surprisingly from everything, despite our beliefs, we really thought that Doki might have been in trouble not having the early flash in this, but he's getting to that point now that when these team fights start happening around the objectives, just Brand is just, he does so much damage with his kit and the capabilities that he brings and kind of hang back. He's already sitting on that Leandries. He's going to be a nuisance.
Yeah, and also in terms of defensive items on this Brand, he does have the Seeker's Arm Guard. which with the new season, Seeker's Arm Guard does have the Zonia active on it, so he does have a stopwatch for himself in these fights. And yeah, the Leandries is very strong in this fight, so we'll have to see whether or not Espada can bounce back from this.
And like you said earlier, you know, they were looking at a 2 to 3k gold lead, and that now has climbed to a 5k gold difference with them picking up this rift. I know it's only 8 to 5, but the individual mechanics on this map between CS and objective control, it's really, really starting to get to a point that Rawrs is just snowballing this match now, and La Espada's got to find a way to make a really good team fight happen here with their comp in order to try to find a way to get these shutdowns and make a comeback.
Yeah, we do see Jax trying to jump onto Doki. Counter-Strike is going to land as Doki trying to get away. He's cutting back into his Darius, and there's the Zonia pop as the Noxian Guillotine just slams down onto Complex, and Noxus will pick up that kill.
A little bit of Ghost run down there quickly. Honestly, it was a good bait. It was a perfect opportunity. Oh, real fast, we see
the Ash Arrow land
coming
onto
out.
Corki, but it is just not enough damage. And when we just saw the gold pop up there, the biggest gold difference right now is actually in the mid lane. It's about a 3,000 gold lead as the Thresh Flash Hook does not connect. And this Corki is off the charts with how much gold he has. He is up 60 CS in this lane. He's about nearly a full item up, especially once this Mirror Mana procs. We'll have to see how strong he gets, as now Neela is going in, but the hook lands onto the Corki. Rooker forced to flash away as Blade comes in on the TP. Aposmeosis not enough for the Neela, and Blade picks up another kill.
And I mean, just like that, these skirmishes keep coming back. The unfortunate part is that there was really nothing beneficial out of that team fight for La Espada. Yeah, they got the kill on the Nyla, which is wonderful, but no shutdown gold, no objective up on the map. That's not going to be enough to be able to close this gap.
We'll have to see. I mean, when you're behind, you got to take any play you can get. I think they will be able to pick up this objective bounty on the bottom lane turret, and yes, they will. So they get the kill, they get the objective bounty. Good play trying to slow down this game for La Espada. Now the gold lead is back down to about 3,000.
Indeed, good play on them. It looks like all the lanes are kind of resetting back to a little bit of normalcy. Everybody's going to go back to CSing as they wait for more of these objectives continue to come up. Get that deep vision, which is really kind of unique. Both teams have done a really good job of kind of setting some wards on the deeper end of each of the team's enemy jungles, and has really given them a good opportunity to see where these enemy junglers are, and it's going to help them dictate how they want to CS and continue to push through these, through that vision line and start getting after these turrets.
But there it is, the Malignance finished for the Corki. He is very strong right now. He's about 50 mana away from proccing that Mirror Mana as well, so this Corki is incredibly strong and will be incredibly strong for any sorts of dragon fights that happen. When you have Lunar Paw on the Maokai, Rooker on the Corki, it is so hard to walk in when you're behind, because every bush has a sapling, every bush could have a Corki rocket with your name on it, and you will lose half your health bar before even stepping up.
For sure, and I definitely give, looks like we have Doki here trying to make an engage on Granted and just gets a little bit of poke and then decides to pull off. But as you can see, that damage already, I mean, that's a solid 15 to 20% chunk of health there off of Granted, off of a single W from Doki, which is just quite impressive.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out from the brand at this point in the game. About to finish his Zonia. We'll have to see whether or not he can finish that, because right now kind of is the window to pick off this Doki. And as I say it, the hook into the Ash Arrow. 3-man Counter-Strike lands down, and Doki is going to go down to the Ash as another hook lands onto Lunar Paw. Granted, fishing in this fight. Double kill for Ash as Jax will pick up the third, and Dragon is going to be their reward. Right as I say it, the Zonias was not complete from Doki, and it will be the pickup. Aspect of Noxus trying to look for something here, but he will just get walled away by Boo and forced to walk away.
Yeah, great wall by her to be able to throw that up and just kind of deter him from coming off. And Rooker, in the meantime, was able to push down on top wave to get that second tier turret in the top lane. But the big thing is they did get the shutdown gold on Doki there. And as you guys remember, he utilized his Seeker's Arm Guard in the previous fight when he made it, and the Dares get the kill.
Aspect and Noxus popping the Ghost, trying to run in. Great hook coming out from Granted X, though. Red Panda flashed away, trying to get forward. The volley of arrows just not enough, as Aspect will be able to get out with both his summoners burned.
Man, thank you for the ghost. That was the only thing that absolutely saved him there. Ash would have been able to continue to auto attack and slow him down, but that was a great escape on Granted to be able to get away from Noxus and continue to kite peel back and almost make a play out of it.
You see Neela riding this Herald, but she is on her own here. We'll see if that was not a great decision. Counter-Strike gonna stun her up. Jack's ultimate gets dropped down, and Red Panda is now on a killing spree. I'm not sure what was going on right there, but it looks like it might have just been a bait. Try and sacrifice their Neela to the bottom side while the rest of the team starts up this Baron.
And what's interesting is
can see this.
I would call that a 7-head play if I've ever heard one. That is absolutely incredible if that's exactly what they did, but I mean, it makes sense now. None of the rest of the team of La Espada was in position to even think that they were on Baron, but Nyla not being worth anything right now, still being 0-4-4 in lane, and, maintaining CS, but recognizing the fact that they're not worth anything in the team fight or the objective, in a sense, just baits themselves, hops inside that rift, goes down and dies for free, and gives her team a Baron for free.
Yeah, certainly an unorthodox play, but it works out as the Corki package is actually going to be used to try and get onto Red Panda here. The heal is going to be popped as the hook will go wide, and this Corki is doing so much damage now.
Wow, that was a single Q rocket there with one auto attack, and then one follow-up rocket, and Ash's health
Lunar Paw sending out the Nature's Grasp. It's going to land onto the Thresh. More rockets landing. You can see the Malignance pools everywhere as this Corki is hurting. You can see the setup of this comp where the Maokai ulti goes down, the Corki rockets get landed 100% off of it. It's just so hard to step up against these champions.
And with the stun that they have in the CC, if somebody gets rooted in that Maokai ult, Doki's just hopefully able to walk up, can land his ult. I mean, just the team fighting capability for them to burst is just astronomical. And now the hard part is how can they even come up and potentially contest these waves with all this poke that Corki pushes out. And these Baron enhanced minions, this is going to be a challenge for them.
Yeah, these rockets are doing so much damage.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Unfortunately, he's got to sit back, wait a little bit, try to recharge that. The bot lane turret goes down to Nyla, and she's able to get a little bit of team objective gold there, and they continue to just, again, snowball and slowly push this lead. And what has been surprising is that La Espada has been kind of able to maintain. They haven't really given up too much as far as a gold differential is concerned. Going
see
through
a
this.
two-man stun coming out from Boo's. The Mordekaiser Death Prison is going to be landed on the Doki. Great setup from Boo on the Anivia to set Blade up for his 5th kill of the game.
Great wombo combo there, and like you said, we're now noticing the situation where no flash might end up becoming a big problem for Doki, and as this game continues to go forward, that could be something that determines a lot of these team fights and how things potentially play out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The reason this game feels so close, even though the gold disparity is there, is because the rest of the map is relatively even or ahead, especially in the case of this bottom lane. But this Corki is just so far ahead of his counterpart that it is the entirety of this gold lead. You can see Flame Horizoning his lane opponent up an entire item is a 6,000 gold lead in just the mid lane alone.
Astronomical numbers there, and you're exactly right. It's all sitting on Rookter, which also lends the same thing, and that's a benefit that, Rawr can be happy about, is that since most of this is on Rookter, having that poking capability, having that item lead, there's just so much in Corki's kit that gives him the ability to survive and be able to get out of trouble if he does happen to get hooked by the Thresh or get, stunned on by the Jax. And honestly, I think he might even be able to duel the Mordekaiser at this point.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, but most likely he'll just sit back, land these rockets. There's the saplings, there's the rockets. Lunar Paw gonna get hooked over here. Nature's Grasp goes out. Thresh did not want to take that hook, but take it he did as he goes down. Red Panda now caught out in no land by Danila. Aposmeosis goes down, practically a solo kill for Red-Faced Beast, as things are starting to fall off the rails for La Espada.
And that looks like they're just going to take the advantage of the numbers as they have a minion wave going down across mid, and they're going to try to crack open this first base turret in mid lane.
Now, Brand ultimate thrown down on the complex just for the poke as they siege down onto these turrets. Boo doing her best to try and defend. Anivia has great wave clear, but she's forced to flash away from this Corki as he jumps forward, and the turret does go down.
And as we can see, Red Face Beast on this Nyla is soloing the dragon right now, taking that. The team most likely will back off, come out, try to help her. We have a flash forward from Granted trying to hook onto Rookter, but he misses, and unfortunately is not able to punish this Corki.
Yeah, the Corki still has flash as well, so it's very tough to get on top of this guy. So you have to get through the Malachi, through the Brand, through the Darius, and even then he can still W or flash away. It's just very hard to get on top of this guy.
As of right now, that's the third drag that has been taken for Rawr. They are sitting up over right around a 6k gold lead. And I mean, like you said, that's pretty much 6k gold is what the mid lane difference is. And that's incredible to see that kind of difference. And, you know, La Espada needs to try to find a way to get this shutdown off of Rookter and get themselves back into this game for contention. I really think their best opportunity here is revolving around something like they're doing now, trying to land this Ashe R. Oh, and then a wombo combo with Jackson, everything. They do get the flash and a W out of Rookter, and the good part is knowing that the flash is down, the Ashe arrow will be up again in roughly about a minute, and they'll be able to utilize that to potentially make another pick play again.
Yeah, this is the kind of plays they need to look for. They don't win a fight if Richter does not go down, so we'll have to see. Complex jumping in for the Scuttle Crab. Counter-Strike gonna go down, but Red Panda gonna pay for his sins. Lunar Paw with the grass. Red Face Beast flashing in with the Neela ultimate. Hook lands down onto the backline, but it's already a kill as Aspect of Noxus gets the two-man pull onto the backline. The Nivea egg is gonna be an omelet, and it's a massive fight for Rawr.
And we had seen Blade TP mid to try to see if he could help respond to his team, but by the time he came in, they were already all dead. So this is turning into a free Baron for them as Aspect of Noxus walks into top lane and is looking at trying to take down this inhib.
Yeah, Blade gonna try and defend this.
Alright, looks like we're sitting on a slight game pause here real quick. That is trying to work out. Could have just been a client thing through the spectator mode, but we are back into it.
We see the 1v1 coming out though. Death Prison coming out from the Mordekaiser. Flash away from Aspect of Noxus. Flash forward with Mordekaiser, and it's a solo kill for Blade yet again.
I'm really kind of surprised that Darius would choose to push in there and give the gold and the Baron buff that his team just got over to Blade and let that go and just not focus the inhib to try to potentially get those super minions pushing.
Yeah, definitely an interesting play, especially when you know you are behind this Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser was a level up, was an item up as well. This Force of Nature was only recently bought. So Mordekaiser definitely had, maybe he thought that Blade didn't have the Death Realm at that time. Was not tracking the ultimates used in the last fight, but still very good play coming out from Rawr. A massive fight. They get the Baron, and they get free setup for their Hextech Soul coming up in 1 minute.
For sure, and as we can see now, that gold lead is continued to increase, especially with the Baron buff up, is going to allow them to push a lot of these waves, continue to, you know, put that chokehold on them as they push down, and it's getting close to a 10k gold difference. And unfortunately, it looks like we're having a slight delay again in the stream. You know, at League clients, way it goes, small indie company, sometimes we run into these situations where things slow or get into a situation where it just needs to catch itself back up, but hopefully we'll have the stream back up here shortly for you guys. It's not a worry. It is a multi-man team here to be able to pull this off with everything that we have. As we continue to work through these technicalities, we'll look across some of the things. At this point, because of the recent fights and everything else, Red Face Beast has gotten themselves into, excuse me, shutdown gold territory, being 2-4-7 when he originally left lane, excuse me, is 0-4-4, has gotten themselves relevant in this game, got some items online, and, you know, looking to use that advantage. And hopefully here in a second we might just go ahead and take a quick pause delay, see if maybe we can reload the stream and get this back up and running. Again, we apologize, guys, as we try to figure out what we're running into currently on the
all
spectator
good.
delay. We could hear the audio. We know that the game is still going on. Things are happening, but unfortunately, the spectator client is just currently slowed down.
Let us know when we're back.
You may need to just go back 15 again and just wait for it to catch up because it's slow again.
Alright, we are back. Technical difficulties over. Taking situation on the map, Rawr did just get the Baron. As we're back. It's freezing in the same spot.
Get done. Hey everybody, we apologize. We did run into a technicality issue with the League client trying to do spectator, but the game did come to an end. Rawr was able to capitalize on that 10k gold lead that they had with that Baron buff, and they were able to push and take that game to a win. So Rawr did win game 1 against La Espada. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties that we ran into, but we are going to take a short break here, reset everything to make sure we're good to go for game 2, and we will come back live to you guys as soon as we get back into our picks and bans for game 2 here in the lower division on /all.
things like that. Hopefully we get a more technical, problem-free game and draft here.
Hey, it all happens, right? Such is the woes of a small indie company. And as we were saying before when we got started on this one too, if any of you have been watching LCS and LCK and other ones too, you know, the League client lately has not been the most reliable thing for a lot of things we've been doing, and has been running into latency issues and connection problems and all kinds of things. So, you know, even us as a small independent all-volunteer force are going to run into same issues too, especially from the guys that are doing it professionally. But again, we're just going to have our moderators give us a little bit of time, try to figure out what is going on currently as they get ready to get started. Going into the picks and bans as they iron out the details for their matchup.
Yep, just teams readying up. We'll have to see what the preparation. Espada did pick the blue side yet again. They don't believe that was the issue. Just coming down to a couple champions maybe. Things like the Corki, maybe even the Darius in the early stages, though Play did a very good job bouncing back in that lane. So we'll have to see what the adjustments are made to try and bounce back in this game too.
For sure, and it looks like what's going on right now is we are just slightly delayed, as we had mentioned earlier, due to the fact that Rookter was, La Espada was not notified early enough about the Rookter swap. They've been given the ability to scout op.gg for a little bit longer, so they're going to have about 3-ish more minutes right now to finish doing individual team prep prior to them getting into this pick and ban phase.
Yep, every minute counts. Glad to see teams taking advantage of their scouting, especially when adjustments do need to be made coming off of the loss.
Agreed. You know, a lot of people really underestimate the value that brings in really studying what's going to happen. Because as we were mentioning before, you know, you said that individuals, some of these guys are one-trick ponies or really have a comfort pick that you can see within their play style. And sometimes there's also the choice in a lot of these matchups where it's like you purposefully let a strong champion go through because you have a good counter pick. And there's always a process to that. So you're 100% right there, Joe, with taking the opportunity to really study, learn about, you know, enemy team strengths and weaknesses, and use it to your advantage. You're given the time, why not take it, right?
Exactly. Should be getting started shortly. Just getting both teams readied up.
And for those of you guys who don't know, you know, Slash All does broadcast every Tuesday and Thursday. Our lower division on Thursdays, our upper division on Fridays, going live at 8 Eastern. And then also on Tuesdays, we have our Slash All podcast. You guys can turn into all that. It streams on Spotify. You can also see it here on the Twitch. A lot of great opportunities, and if anybody's interested in wanting to potentially get a team together and join us for the follow-on seasons as this continues to grow, it's a great tournament, great opportunity for you and your friends to come along. You know, be sure to check us out, Amateur League. You guys can find all the links for everything within the Twitch page. You know, message some of us if you guys see us around on Discord and everything else. My name's Mercmaster everywhere. You guys are welcome to reach out to me anytime. Always happy to help. And
we are in the draft.
All right, we are in it, and man, real quick picks and bans here. Like Joe, like you said, you know, they saw the power of that Corki, and it's gone instantly.
Yep, Corki, Zac band also followed. We still see the Morgana Nocturne bands. Zyra gonna be a band to follow, which means the Corki band did replace the Amumu. We'll see if that does continue out, but Blade gonna pick his Mordekaiser yet again. Had a pretty good game last game.
I think it's a smart idea, very strong pick. Mordekaiser's sitting very comfortable in this current patch, and was mentioned before last week when I was broadcasting that Mordekaiser was kind of a big fan in the lower division. He was played in almost every single game last season, and then apparently it's the same flavor this season.
Yeah, especially with the new items, how they were changed with the Rift Maker being very useful items. We do see the Maokai Flex come back for Rawr. Last game, it was Lunar Paw that played it, but it can still be flexed to the jungle.
For sure, and she did such a wonderful job playing on that and making those great engagements. And we see a Tristana come out, and again another champion for Rawr. Kind of really doing good with this pick and ban phase to modify, because Tristana currently with the items can go mid lane, can do your AD carry, just like the Maokai in jungle and support. They're kind of really make it difficult to counter pick at this.
Yeah, Tristana, very strong mid laner, especially with some of these AP junglers. We see the Xin Xiao coming out. This is a very strong pick right now in the current meta. You do have the Titanic Hydra for the Q auto resets. You can proc the knockup very, very fast. Ahri going to be locked side alongside it for a very strong mid-jungle duo with the Ahri, with the Xin Xiao. A very strong top side just in general drafted here for La Espada.
The lock up to stand still, exactly like you said. That Xin Xiao deep engage with his W, being able to charge in from such a long distance, especially over walls, and then staying in place. Ahri can throw the Q out, maybe get the charm. Really a lot of good opportunities for Wombo combo here. And we see the brand pick again. Doki did really good early game on that, really was able to snowball that champion, and who knows, it may be support, it may be mid, it may be jungle again.
Yep, most likely this is going to be Brand Jungle yet again for Doki, which would mean that the Maokai is most likely going down to the bottom lane for Lunar Pause again. One of those things where it's, don't fix what ain't broken, is just running it back with a lot of these champions.
We're just going to say the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I really like what we do see from La Espada here, though. This is a very strong top side here. Especially the Ahri Xin Xiao. This is just an incredibly strong mid-jungle 2v2. You can transfer that pressure easily down into some of these early objectives. You can dive bot with this combo. Just some of the strongest picks, especially the Xin in this current state of the meta.
For sure, and honestly, I'm actually kind of surprised here seeing the Darius ban. Blade had done a very, very good job of being able to duel that Darius one-on-one with the Mord. A little bit of early advantage was on the side of Noxus, but just opted to say, hey, we're not going to deal with this at all this game.
Yeah, I can definitely respect that. Yes, he did get to snowball, but maybe he's saying maybe if they had played it better, I wouldn't have gotten back in this game. It also seems like it's a big counter pick. I mean, his name is Noxus, so I'm assuming that he's a big Darius player, so get him off the comfort, make him show something else in this series.
And then we see from the rest of Rawr, they end up opting for the Senna and the Ezreal, and like we said before, they do miss out on that last ban for what they're going for, and eliminating some of those additional support and AD carry picks. And more than likely, this Tristana probably is going to be the mid laner from the way these pick bans have gone. If I was a betting man, and we end up seeing the last ban from La Espada being the Twitch, which was one of the picks that Rawr was wanting to go last.
Yep. So things like the Nila, if they want to run that back again, we see Dr. Mundo going to be the pick into Mordekaiser.
Wow. I mean, tank against tank, I think the Mundo has a really good opportunity here to try to balance that out. One of the benefits is his passive, while it's up, allows him to avoid the crowd control. So the pull from the Mordekaiser is not going to be quite as effective on the initial engagement. So it's going to definitely come down to being a really interesting skill matchup.
Yeah, now this is a bot lane that I am quite interested to see. We do see the Jinx locked inside the Janna. The Janna is one of the strongest picks. If you remember a few patches ago, she was reworked into more of a W Max Halo Blade support. So very strong enchanter in the current state of the game, locked alongside one of the best hyper carries that you can get. I think we see a very strong front to back draft coming out here from La Espada if Swain is currently being hovered, but it is just going to be the Nila locked in yet again for the bottom lane of Rawr. We now see that it's going to be the Nila Maokai yet again.
The combo worked decently, once they got themselves to mid to late game, thanks to the support and efforts that the rest of the team was able to put on. But with this, I'm honestly kind of surprised that they went back to the same team comp. They really seemed to struggle a little bit in lane, and, La Espada was able to take advantage of it. But I think this is going to be a really good matchup, and La Espada's team comp right now looks a lot more favorable to me with their ability to be able to get picks and potentially work this. And what I'm going to be very interested in to see the most is, do we think Doki is going to take Flash or something else this game, or do you think he's going to run it back with Ignite again?
It's not going to be Flash. I can guarantee you it's not going to be Flash. The one thing I'm looking at is, yes, the jungle matchup, but I'm more looking at the Xin Xiao Ahri. Let's see if they can, because the Tristana brand are going to outscale. Tristana gets extra range with each level. Brand just has very good items right now. But the power of this Xin Ahri is very strong. The easy CC, the charm into the knockup, or the other way around. I want to see how they can snowball this lead in lane, and also how they can affect the rest of the map and see if they can get their Jinx Janna ahead. Because if Jinx Janna get ahead of this Neela, it's going to be a very hard time for the front-to-back team fight for Rawr.
For sure. And, you know, as you look at it across the board, you know, most of the decisions and the things that we make judgments off the kits, the things that we see for the individuals are capable of where it's at. But like all games, when all of it comes down, player and individualism gameplay, being able to hit those keys, have your mouse in the right position, make the right decision at the right time, all those things play such a huge factor into these individual matchups. But like you said, at face value, I'm definitely leaning more on Espada and their ability to be able to, you know, pull this win back and potentially take this to a game 3.
Well, that's the hope that they are looking for as we load into the game. As they complete their tournament draft and the spectator delay, we will head into a brief intermission and catch you guys on Summoner's Rift for Game 2.
We'll be right back.
Welcome on to the Rift for Game 2 between La Espada and the Dino Rawrs. Game 1, Dino Rawrs took it in for the win, but Game 2, La Espada has changed things up, and we'll see if they can bounce back in Game 2 of this series.
Really hoping to see what this mid lane is going to turn into this time around with Boo on the Ahri. Hopefully she can help close having an earlier game champion. She can close some of that CS disparity that we saw on Rooker. And it looks like they're stacking for a 5-man engage again early to try to see. All right, and they force Rooker to take the jump early, which is could be good or bad, depending on whether or not Complex can get in there early and make a play on this Tristana.
Tristana W start it can be standard for lane, especially with the Halo Blades, which she does not have this game, but it can be common for trading patterns. You just W on top of their head, especially if you can get your E level 2 and get the reset. We do see a counter invade coming out from Rawr using the advantage of the Maokai saplings, but we do see a stack coming out to try and counteract us. We'll see if these teams meet each other. Looks like though, things are bouncing apart. Rawr did get multiple wards inside the jungle, but none of them are on the red buff, so they won't know until Complex does cross over to his Raptors.
Yeah, they definitely took a smart path there, going down through the farther half of their jungle, closer to their base to move into this red buff. So they do not know where Complex has started right now, and neither does La Espada know exactly where Doki started. But as we said before the break, Doki decided to opt in with the Ignite again to try to utilize that early pressure and see if he can get good dueling capabilities.
Yep, we'll have to see yet again whether or not it can be punished. We do have strong pick champions with the Xin Zhao and the Ahri in the mid side, so I think there's a little bit more threat on him this game than there was last, as we do see the Tristana W jump in with the E-bomb reset. Classic trade and a big chunk of health onto Boo to start off this lane.
You know, the powers of Tristana in that solo lane and her dueling capabilities is just exactly that. She has the ability to punish very early, take advantage of that capability of using that jump bomb, and then if she pops the bomb with 4 auto attacks, she can get a reset on her W and jump again.
Yep, this is a very tough lane for the Ahri in the early stages. Tristana just in a notoriously strong laner and has very strong push. So it will be up to the junglers to try and kind of sway this matchup, whether or not Complex can kind of bail out Boo, try and get the kills on Tristana to sway in a matchup, or whether or not Doki can cover off Rooker on this push.
And as we're seeing, the lane's kind of resetting back to normal within the mid lane, continuing just to trade minions. And unfortunately, it looks like it's already turning into that matchup where Rooker's getting an early advantage on the CS. But what I'm really happy to see is the bot lane, Red Panda and Granite are doing a phenomenal job of harassing Red-Faced Beard on this Nyla and getting good poke while maintaining some CS contention.
Yeah, Janna is an incredibly strong laner, especially into a melee champion. Like, we do see a bit of a trade here. The Ghost is going to be popped by Access and Noxus, and it's going to be a forced flash away from Blade, so Summoner for Summoner. But that is value to the Dr. Mundo, as he gets to push in this wave and force the teleport out of Blade.
For sure. Down a little bit of CS is going to have to force that recall to come back, get that TP. Otherwise, this Maokai is going to fall severely behind. We might have an early skirmish here in the jungle as Doki runs into Complex.
Face check here is Complex jumps in with the Wind Becomes Lightning. Ignite drops down from Doki, but flash forward from Complex to try and land the knockout. Wind Becomes Lightning for the first blood, as Rooker is there to get the trade kill. And great play coming out from Complex to secure the first blood. But good response from Rooker to make it a 1-for-1.
Devastating for Doki. You know, the whole purpose of being able to try to utilize that Ignite early is to give you that dueling advantage. And, I mean, Complex is just able to combo perfectly, once his W was missed in the brush and be able to punish Doki on that play and get that first blood.
Xin Zhao, a notoriously strong dueling jungler in the early stages, and with both W's landing, it's going to be most of the damage down from the Xin, and it gives him the extended dash as well, so especially with no flash, there's no getting away from Complex.
And then what we have to hope to see here is like what happened last game is, the individual who gets that early lead, takes advantage of what's going on, has the item up front. They got to try to use that to their advantage. And it looks like right now, Doki might be caught out.
Again, Tornado from the Janna. Knockup is going to land, and Red Panda picks up another kill onto Doki. Maybe wishing he had flash right now.
100% wishing he had Flash right now. I mean, to go up and challenge that, not knowing where the bot lane was when the lane was pushing in, I mean, support roamed up perfectly, great collapse, and really the big benefit to that is that not only was Red Panda able to get the kill, there was also the assists that came out onto Complex and Granite.
Yeah, and getting this Jinx early gold is very, very strong. There is something to be said. I think a lot of these people are still getting used to the changes to Summoner's Rift. Normally there would have been a path back to blue buff from there, but now that there is that big wall, he is much easier to be collapsed upon in this lane. As Aspect the Noxus is really getting the push in this lane. Good pull from Blade to try and get some damage down, but this trading patterns are ruthless as the cleavers land on the Blade.
And as we said before, that quick reset, having to go back and TP back up, he was unfortunately missed quite a few minions, as I believe he got a single turret plate off of that in top lane, and that's just set him a little bit behind. We see a Noxus hit level 6 early, was able to use it to his advantage, push that wave out, and Blade just now hit 6, and he's getting punished for it.
Yeah, some really nice laning coming out from Aspect and Noxus. The CS isn't too bad, but the XP, but it's also just the pressure too, especially now that the Void Grubs are a part of the game. It's an early objective that matters a lot with this top push, so we'll have to see whether or not Doki will make the move for this, as it may be more difficult for him to try and take the Grubs, but Brand is very good at taking them if he does get the pressure from his 2 solo lanes.
Which is what we're most likely to see, and whether or not Complex decides to make a play on that yet is yet to be seen, but it looks like Rookter is going to be taking a second plate here potentially, but Complex is moving in, and actually is a very good opportunity to duel this. Unfortunately misses the W to go re-engage, and Rookter was able to secure that second plate with the bomb.
Yeah, Tristana notoriously safe. It's pretty hard to gank her. It's why she is generally the marksman that can be played in solo lanes. He had to use his E to get on top of the Tristana, so he has no E to follow up on the Wind Becomes Lightning. So we'll have to see whether or not he gets caught out here, as he does get the bomb put on him, but Ahri is there to cover.
Good little pullback to not share the damage on the Ahri as well, and this bot lane is now slowly turning into a really big advantage for Red Panda, and Granted pushing in that minion wave and still doing good damage, and they're going to go ahead and start dragging.
Yeah, the CS lead is there for Red Face Beast though, so doing a good job farming up under the turret, and despite the early cryo Granted and Panda had, it will be Rawr and Doki picking up the first dragon of the game.
And as you said before, it's, again, top lane continuing to be in a continuous skirmish.
We do see the Nature's Grasp coming out. Maokai ultimate lands down. A Cosmiosis Flash coming out from Red Face Beast. Flash is not going to be there for the Janna, as Jinx flashes away with the zap. Xin Zhao goes in with the dash, flashes forward. Jinx Rocket gonna pick up 1 kill. Jinx gonna pick up a 2nd kill. She is excited, she is chasing, and it's a double kill for Red Panda.
Great turnaround for Red Panda there, recognizing the ability for him to be able to
solo kill on the top side. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 as Aspect the Noxus chases Blade under the turret.
And I mean, I think that's nothing but a win for Blade there after the initial exchange from what had happened. TP is currently down for Aspect the Noxus.
Great
and we
ultimate
see it
coming
kill
out
mid
from
lane.
Yeah, great ultimate coming out from Rookter there. You can see with the Tristana, she puts the bomb on her head, gets it close to proccing, and then uses the Buster Shot with the buffered auto following the Buster Shot pushback, and it's an easy secure for Rookter. Great mechanics coming out, and a strong lane lead in mid yet again.
And it looks like because of that lane push lead, we are going to see Lunar Paul. She's going to move up the river with Doki and is looking at trying to get this first round of 3 Void Grubs.
Yeah, great job coming out from Rawr. They've picked up the first dragon. They're going to pick up the first round of Grubs as well. They're getting all the objectives across the map. You can see that Brand AoE is very good at taking these Grubs. Complex has nothing else to do but to take his blue, as we can maybe see a collapse coming in, but Blade needs to be careful. They do not have the numbers here.
Unfortunate that Jinx Rocket missed. It was very close. If it would have hit, it might have been able to snipe away one of those Grubs. But unfortunately,
nice
did he steal that? He did steal that.
As we do see a plate get traded back for the Grubs. Looks like it's going to be a 2nd plate. So good job by Red Panda and Granted X to trade back a little bit on the other side of the map and make sure the Grubs were not given up for nothing.
And that's exactly what they're going to have to do in these situations, is utilize the opportunity to recognize they have the advantage when they have it, and try to push that in their favor, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, we do see another jump in from Rooker on the mid lane. Bomb gonna get put down. It's just a great trade coming out. You can see what makes this lane so hard for the Ahri into the Tristana.
The only good part is for Boo right now is that she's getting to the point that Ahri's getting strong enough that she's going to be able to clear these waves with a lot more ease, and essentially is going to be able to play a little bit safer to maybe not get bursted quite as easily from Rooker as this continues.
We do see some creative pathing coming out from Doki with the Blast Plant looking to get behind, but the Maokai ultimate actually goes wide, flash forward from Lunar Paw to try and get the root, but with the Nature's Grasp missing, there's nothing left in the play. Zap lands onto the Doki, Super Mega Death Rocket lands down, Ignite finishes the tick. Granted, X gets 1 kill, as just like kind of folly of airs coming out here with the Maokai ultimate going wide and then Doki getting caught out under the turret. It's just going to be an easy pickup in the 2v3 for the Espada bot lane.
And additionally, Lunar Paw, she flashed forward there to try to land that root on the Jinx, and a beautifully timed ult from Granted, utilizing Janna's ult and getting him off of her immediately allows them to reset. And I mean, Doki gets punished there because of that positioning, and Red Panda just leverages that advantage that he currently has, being 3-0-1, and puts down that damage. And I'm honestly surprised he didn't chase harder into that fight, knowing that Janna still had a little bit of health left.
Yeah, my guess is that just over chasing. Maybe they didn't have vision on Tristana. Jinx still has no flash, but yeah, name of the game is going to be between Red Panda on the Jinx and Richter on the Tristana. Who can carry these teams more? 2 hyper carries very fed. You can see Richter already has the Kraken Slayer finished. But this Jinx is also off to a very early start. This Jenna building a lot of pressure in this lane in the 2 melees with the Neela Maokai.
And like you said before, I really think this game is going to turn into what can Red Panda and
Xin Zhao actually going in on his own. Super Mega Death Rocket blocked by Lunar Paw as the Neela ultimate is used to disengage, but Rooker on the flank. We'll have to see. Like you said, Lunar Paw did get caught out flashless. Rooker now maybe in trouble. Charm goes wide. Rooker jumping in, finishing the kill onto Boo with the buffered rocket jump. Let's see if he uses his jump here. Yes, there it is. Red Panda looking for the kill. The zap goes wide, Rooker looking to execute. Dr. Mundo actually executing behind the tier 2 turret while this play goes on. Is Rooker actually looking to TP, but we'll see if it's actually too little, too late. Complex gets the shutdown.
Wow, I mean, that is almost devastating at this point for Dinor. They're able to get the shutdown on the Tristana. 700 gold, I believe that was.
Yeah,
on the complex.
To the Xin Zhao, but he does use gold really well. You can already see the Titanic Hydra finished up for complex. As Lunar Paw needs to be careful here. Still no flash. Just walking in the faces of Zen, but Doki is here to cover. We see the Brand ultimate get thrown down onto the backline complex, throwing down the Xin Zhao ultimate. Here comes Boo on the Ahri. Spirit Rush in. Xin Zhao dashing in. Wind becomes lightning. Down. Jinx gets 1. Xin gets the other. Ahri gonna get the 3rd. Xin does get shut down by the Brand as Dr. Mundo did come down, but while this is happening, Blade is just pushing in turret plates on the top side.
Red Panda gets excited in a phenomenal trade there for La Espada, being able to manage that, and then it looks like they're going to be able to get out of here safely, avoid Rooker's engagement, and Blade is just hitting top, being able to get those turret plates, be able to get back in this game and match the CS against this Mundo that he fell so far, he was so far behind in the beginning, but makes benefit of it.
Yeah, a great fight coming out. This Jinx is now off the charts, 5-0-4. Massive 500 gold bounty on top of her head. All eyes on the game are on this Jinx now, as we do see a contest over this Ocean Drake, but Rawrs will just finish it.
I mean, Rooker's so far ahead at this point, being able to rotate first, able to do a phenomenal amount of damage on that dragon, and what's really going to make a big difference is this is what I was waiting for, was the first back from Red Panda, being able to go spend all of that gold that he got from all of those fights, and going to see what all of this turns into.
Yep, there it is, the completed Kraken Slayer coming out, pickaxe on top, building towards that Infinity Edge. Nice charm coming out from Boo to try and make this trade a little less painful, but still pretty rough when the Tristana is this far ahead.
We saw the Super Mega Death Rocket come out, just barely missed Rooker coming down the mid. And to be honest, as this game continues to go on, that might become a big surprise if Red Panda is able to start landing those rockets with the amount of damage that he currently has and this Jinx continuing to move ahead. They might be able to wombo combo plays like that, utilizing the charm to knock up and just letting that rocket fly, and then boom, Jinx is just that much more ahead again.
Yeah, they're very ahead on all fronts. It's just this Tristana they need to watch out for. This Tristana is still very much a threat as Rift Herald is on the map. They will start this up.
And I think one of the biggest benefits lending towards La Espada right now is you're exactly right. They're ahead in gold. They're ahead in the kills right now. They're behind on turrets, and they really need to focus on the Tristana, like you said. But they have the tools in the kit with the Ari charm, with the with being able to take the ult from Mordekaiser, the knock up from Xin Chao, the knock up from Granite. There's so many different ways for them to be able to CC Rukter out of the fight, trying to get on top of the Jinx. That if this, again, individual gameplay might become the biggest challenge here for them to be able to find a way to get back into this.
Yeah. I really like what we're seeing out of Complex this game on the Xin Zhao. I said in draft, we have to see what he can get done early, and he has delivered on it. Doki having a much rougher game without the flash is very much due to the Zen Ari mid-jungle duo. A lot more CC and pick potential, and he has been punished for it this game. 1-5 on the brand.
For sure, and I mean that's allowed them the ability to safely farm in these lanes, safely push vision lines, and try to work towards all these different objectives. And we're really starting to see that, this is going to continue to snowball this gold advantage as we see Complex put down the Rift Herald, and they're going to crash this into mid-wave, and or the mid turret, excuse me, and they might be able to get this turret down because Tristana by herself may not be able to clear all this.
Yeah, Jinx does get excited off the turret. Richter needs to be careful here. Has to use the Buster Shot to disengage. Brand doing his best to peel away. Nice little stun on the exit, but Richter losing a good amount of health.
And it's exactly what we thought was going to happen. The Jinx gets excited. She's so far ahead with her items right now that she's able to contest and duel against Rukter. And I mean, she's up to a 500 gold shutdown now. CSing phenomenally well. They take that mid turret, and I mean, they're poised in position to be able to make things happen. It looks like there might be a big play happening down here bot lane.
Yeah, the big name of the game is we do see a dive getting set up here. Complex coming from behind on the turret. When becomes lightning, Xin Zhao ultimate. Nature's Grasp looking to try and disengage. And it is going to be just that. Good disengage coming out from Lunar Paw on the Maokai to keep her AD carry safe.
Indeed, but at the end of the day, La Espada walks away with what the goal was, which is trying to collapse that wave, get that turret, and unfortunately they aren't going to get the kill to follow up, but they do get that last outer turret, and it looks like Noxus currently is so close to being able to knock this turret down. Maybe within the next minion wave, we'll be able to utilize that proc and finish executing this turret.
Yeah, he's just looking to get that Demolish proc down. Probably will be able to get it with his team overloading on the bottom side. We'll have to see how far he is willing to step up. It looks like he's not quite comfortable doing so just yet, since his team is also not on the map.
Sure, you never know, no vision line, don't know where the Xin Chao is going to come from and be able to make a play at the end of the day and get that engagement. So, hey, like you said, better to be safe than sorry in the long run, and chooses to take the safe route, knowing that eventually this tower will go down with no major objective being contested on the map right now.
Yep, it's one of those things where when you want to step up for something like that, you need to have your team covering you as well, and his team had just based off that bottom lane play. So, just playing it safe. He gets this turret anyway, since Mordekaiser did have to recall. So he picks it up. Nice turret coming out from aspect of Noxus. A very strong lane performance coming out, though he did go bot and lose that lane lead a little bit.
And as we see, La Espada's posturing themselves down bot lane, trying to gain some vision control as this dragon gets ready to spawn, which will be stopping them getting Soul Point, the third drag, on top of Rawr, and it looks like that they're just going to go ahead and give it up.
Yep, I'm not surprised with them having to give this up. Jinx is in a very strong position, as it looks like they might want to engage here. Nature's Grasp going out, but Mordekaiser is here. Mundo is arriving late. Jinx gets excited off the dragon. Rawr making the full rotation down just to watch La Espada take the dragon. Rukter with the flash away as Mordekaiser goes in with the Death Realm, trying to pick up Doki, but it's not enough. Aposmiosis goes down onto the front line as Blade picks up the kill onto Maokai. Xin Zhao picks up a second. Jinx is excited, laying down the damage onto Doki, but Doki with a nice stun under the turret does get the shutdown onto Panda.
That was unfortunate for Panda, just going a little bit too far forward, not having the backup of his team, and being able to execute or maybe even get off that Mega Death Rocket there right at the end to try to secure a kill.
Yeah, it was a nice stun coming out from Doki, got her under the turret. Jinx goes down. But it is still a one fight for La Espada. They get the dragon. The big thing I see with a lot of these teams is that when one team is first to the objective and they already started, the other team makes the full rotation down just to watch the other team take it. You beg the question of whether or not they will, if they're going to fight the dragon, they need to show up sooner, or if they're not going to fight the dragon, they try and cross map and try and get gold elsewhere.
Agreed, and that's definitely something that they're going to have to look to try to do, because as you can see, as the second dragon was done, and they recognized, because of the vision line that they had, they recognized they were able to utilize their abilities, get in there with their Fed Xin Zhao, the Fed Jinx, and they're able to secure extra kills there on top of the dragon, which is huge for La Espada. So hopefully, as the game continues, Dinor can figure out what they need to do to either commit to the objective or just let it go and not get punished additionally.
Yeah, we are starting to see some disparities in items. We have 2 items for the Mordekaiser, we have 2 items for the Xin Zhao, but we also had 2 items for the Tristana over the Ahri. So the gold is, you can see there's about a 3k gold lead in the mid lane, which is helping balance out how far ahead the other lanes are, with about the ADC, jungler, and top laner about being 2k gold ahead each in their respective roles.
And it definitely stacks up, like you said, as time continues to go on. The individuals make the items and where it's at. And, and we stress constantly, the team fights, the individual to focus on stuff. Despite the Mordekaiser being down, only a little bit of CS, there's an over 400 gold, difference here, which is, whole potential different item completion going into the next objective, especially with Baron being up now. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that can make coming into these team fights.
Yeah, a lot of that was the turret plates he did pick up on the top side when Mundo roamed down for that fight that didn't go his way. We do see an invade coming out here. They might be looking to try and get some deep vision here, make sure that the pathway to the Baron is not safe as Mundo, I think, too tanky of a champion in the bot zone.
Oh, and unfortunately, that's twice. Granted, maneuvered around with the sweeper, missed the ward in the back of the Baron pit, and then again, once they use the vision plant, they miss the ward again. So currently, Dinor is very well aware, despite Mundo being there, that La Espada started this Baron.
Yeah, this Baron is very dangerous as we see the TP coming out from Rooker onto Tristana. They now know that ward is there, as Rawrs is actually going to take the opportunity. They say TY for leash. Xin Zhao going in with the ulti, trying to get the smite down, but it is Doki on the Brand who's going to land the smite onto the Baron. Team fight happening, but it is Rawrs dominating across the board. It is a 4-0 fight. Rawrs picks up the Baron. They pick up the kills, and they're going to march it right down mid lane into the base of La Espada.
And just like that, the massive lead that they had established gets flipped over in one team fight, and Dinor now is up 4k gold, excuse me, against this La Espada team, and is just pushing in these turret waves and really trying to turn this game around.
You could see the plan there from La Espada, where they sweep out the vision in the red side jungle, where they try and sweep out the vision in the Baron pit. But I think it's just so risky 20 minutes into the game when your AD carry didn't even have 2 items to try and just start Baron with 5 members on the map when you know that they both have teleport.
And that's exactly the point I was going to make. Your Ahri is not able to match this Tristana bot wave, which is what she was trying to do to try to keep away from the turret, but she has Flash Ignite there. You have to make the decision going into Baron in that team fight that you need Ahri there. It's okay in the long run, just go ahead and secede that outer turret and have all 5 players there on this Baron ready to react and be able to make that team fight. But because of that, it unfortunately doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
All 4 members die, and boom.
The other play too is that maybe they're just trying to bait out the teleports from the Tristana, but if that's the case, they need to peel off that Baron far sooner, because they got it low enough that Rawrs just said thank you for the help and just swooped in and took that Baron right under their noses. as Rawr making the decision to give the dragon and instead push with the Baron. Dr. Mundo knocking on the inhib turret's door as Xin Zhao does go in. Super Mega Death Rocket rants on to Rookter as the electrocute coming out from Boo is gonna finish the job. Nice pick on the Rookter, but the base is crumbling apart.
Unfortunate, but absolutely, that was a really good job by Complex to recognize that Rookter had stepped up a little bit too far forward and is able to stop his recall and engage Rookter and get the kill. But like you said, the damage has already been done. They're able to use these Baron-empowered minions, and they're able to take down both top and mid-wave base turrets and get the inhib mid, and I believe they got the inhib top as well.
Yeah, so now it's super easy here. They're gonna take their resets or even just go straight to bottom side. You now have the super minions pushing in the top side and the mid lane, which now gives them free push there, and they can group down into the bottom lane while the other lanes push in, sync up those waves, and just try and overwhelm the base and try and get the triple inhibitor.
Hopefully they focus on that and choose to go down that route and get their team in those lanes in order to push that advantage. But one of the big benefits is that La Espada was fortunate to be able to grab that drag right before that base wave did push, so there's really nothing too dangerous on the map or any unnecessary safety or risks that La Espada has to take. At this current point. They can just wait out this Baron.
That dragon did cost them a lot of their base though, because they went out of their base. They did lose 2 inhibitors. I think it's a good call from Rawr to give up the dragon, because realistically this game doesn't actually go to Soul. It's 2-2 Drakes. It's going to be at least another 10 minutes until a team can get Soul. So they're just saying, don't worry about the Soul.
It might be called out.
Yeah, really good pick coming out from Lunar Paw. As the Aposmiosis comes out, Neela gonna find the Zen for a little bit of damage. As, yeah, just great pick coming out from Lunar Paw on the Maokai. Great for 2 games as they are pressuring this bottom side as super minions push in on the other lanes.
And now all 5 of them are bot wave, like you said. We see the ult coming out.
Nature's Grasp coming out. Xin Zhao ultimate trying to go in. Flash in from Lunar Paw. 2-man knockback. As it's just a clean dive. 3 for nothing. And the turret goes down. Mundo does pick up the Maokai on the backside, but it's too little too late as they are knocking on the final door of the base. Mordekaiser flash forward into the Grand Stun and just gets eviscerated by Rookter on this Tristana. Rookter jumping in yet again as another kill for Goki on this Brand. And
that may
most
be
likely
game.
Gonna be game.
12
seconds on the Ahri and the Jinx to come in. They have the minions here. They're pushing in, and that looks like that's going to be it. This inhib is going to fall, and that is going to be it. Rawr is going to take this 2-0.
Yeah, great series coming out from Rawr. 2-0 slaughter in the end. La Espada had some good looks. They had some leads, but in the end, it is Rawr coming out on top.
Absolutely unfortunate. I mean, La Espada really had all the tools and everything in their corner to potentially make that big comeback that game, but you know, as we see with the damage meters and everything else coming into this final one, it really was Complex and Red Panda putting out all that damage, and just unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough to be able to win those team fights and keep them in this game.
Yeah, just not enough coming out from the team. Maybe have to question the Baron calls. Also tough time in the mid lane as well.
Able to stay up in CS comparatively, but like you said, it seems just like Rookter was able to kind of have their way, you know, with these champion picks and, you know, get significant lead advantages, CS advantages, and are able to snowball that on the other sides of the map.
Yep, but I think great series overall. Rawr coming out on top, and I think we got a great match.
And that's what we look forward to, you know, a great debut for Rawr. You know, that's the way they want to come out after having a bye week 1, being able to show up here, you know, put their names on the map, basically drop an exclamation point, so to speak, on the fact that, hey, we're here to play, we're here to contest, and, you know, we went 2-0 and we're going to make this work. And, you know, this is Slashed All. This is what we get, these great games, these tough matchups, and see how everything continues to go.
As we get wrapped up on our end here, reminder that Upper Division will be tomorrow. We have Divine Temple versus Elysium Clown Car. They are the two top teams in the Upper Division, both standing at 2-0 respectively. So really hype matchup tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Come catch that up for Upper Division in /all.
Yeah, going to be an absolutely banger of a game. Really looking forward to that. We always have these really wonderful matches in /all with what's going on with the Upper Division. You know, being able to play into that tomorrow with two of those undefeated teams. And don't forget, Inferni is up there as well, being 2-0 as well. But, you know, they don't face Elysium or Divine till later in the season. So this might be a really unique situation to see how this it's going to turn out for all of them. But another wonderful day here on /all, and looking forward.